She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. Thanks so much for joining us today. Hey, it's Money Monday. This is that day of the week where the Dani Johnson Show focuses on your money and you being able to hold on to more of it. That's how you create wealth, little by little. I grew up on welfare, pregnant at 17, homeless at 21, but millionaire by 23, multi-millionaire in my mid-20s, and today, still a multi-millionaire who gives away all of the profits from our business and gives away the salary. Says the government says I have to have a salary for running a multi-million-dollar company, so that check never even enters my bank accounts. It just gets signed right over to kingsransom.org. So on a Money Monday, this is the day that I challenge you to learn how to look at your money differently, to look at it properly. 98% of the population is going to be dead or dead broke at the age of 65, dependent on their family, friends, or federal government for their main source of income. 2% of the population is going to succeed financially. Be financially independent. That's where you belong. How do I know that? Because you're listening to the show. You are attracted to that because you have a desire inside of you to not die broke or to live broke your entire life. So there's a very different way that you got to think about money, see money. And one of the things that was really helpful for me personally was to understand marketing. Yes, when you can understand marketing, then you can see the big ploys, the pies in the skies that are being sold, all the junk that is being packaged up to look really nice to attract you and me, the buyer, so that they can get into our pockets, so they can drain our pockets, and they can send their kids to Harvard or Cambridge. They can send their kids to Yale. They can send their kids to Stanford. But your kids and my kids, yeah, them kids, let's not even talk about it, friend. They're going to go into crazy amounts of debt, have the size of a debt of a mortgage just from their school loans, but have no house when they exit college. So today you're going to see money from a completely different way. I hope to kind of shed some light on some marketing junk that has just repackaged simple things, multiplied the cost of the thing to get your money out of your pocket into theirs. I want you to save money today on Money Monday. So, did you know, check this out, that according to NPR, 80% of Americans are not getting the recommended servings of fruit and vegetables in their diet, and 36% of Americans are obese. Now, watch this. Yet, when these Americans were surveyed, 75% of them said they have a healthy diet. Oh, really? 75% of Americans say they have a healthy diet. It kind of reminds me of my husband, Hans. It really does. It totally reminds me of that. In fact, it reminds me of a lot of people. Now, I actually studied nutrition for a really, really long time. I even produced nutritional products. When I was 22, I started a company that produced weight loss products and herbal Chinese medicine products and a skincare line. And that was after I was homeless. A year after I was homeless, I started manufacturing a whole nutrition line. That's what I did with the first $1 million that I made, is I invested it back into business. So anyway, check it out. So because I've been studying that stuff for a long time, and I've been really, really cautious with what I put in my body, that also has caused me to see how other people think about nutrition and what kind of gimmicks that we've all bought into. Let me give you one prime example. Pink salt. I'm wearing pink today. In fact, I'm wearing the same exact color of that Himalayan pink salt that could be in your pantry. How do I know that? I was recently in front of about 1,000 people and I asked the question, how many of you have Himalayan pink salt in your pantry right now? And almost every hand went up. Majority of the people in the room had bought into the great marketing ploy of Himalayan salt. Now, they say it's going to make you feel better. They say it's better for you. It says it has all these great minerals in it, right? Yeah, this little teeny tiny jar that has its own personal grinder is $4. And then you have your regular iodized salt for 50 cents. Have you noticed a difference in your health since you started using the big Himalayan salt? Guess what I noticed when I got it? It is this kind of an oily salt, and it jacks up the grinder all the time. So I stopped using it. Someone actually bought it for me, and I didn't buy it. But somebody else gave it to me, came with this little thing, and bam. I'm like, you can't even get the stupid stuff out. That, first of all, drove me nuts. But then you just start hearing all this research about the pink Himalayan salt, right? Sounds good. What a great story. But if you understand marketing, here's what you know. What you know is that good marketers try to take a normal thing and try to sex it up. They try to spice it up. They try to find something really different to make it stand out different than all the other normal salts. So how can we make people spend how much more? 800% more on salt than they should? All we have to do is make it pink. All we have to do is create a great story. And all we have to do is create a problem that the regular salt doesn't solve, that now this salt does solve. So there we are. We spend $4 for a tiny little container of salt versus, the big container of salt for 50 cents. And why do we do this? Because we've been duped like 98% of the population who ends up dead or dead broke at the age of 65. Do you got pink salt in your pantry? Why? Do you realize that you paid 800% more for that salt than the salt that you grew up on? Yeah, that salt, the salt that you actually need to have in your body, the iodized salt you actually need to have in your body. And the pink Himalayan salt doesn't actually have the stuff that's in the other salt. But the bottom line is, the point is, if you are in debt, you got a mortgage, you got car debt, you got credit card debt, you got department store debt, you got personal loan debt, you got a line of credit debt, and you are spending 800% more for fancy pink salt? Hello, friend, you're in debt. Don't buy the stupid pink salt. Take that extra $3.50 and send it to your creditor. Pay off some of your credit card. You will have an instant 18.9% on that $3.50. Buy the 50-cent salt. Don't be a sucker like everybody else, including the one who bought it for me. Do not be like everyone else. And I'm sure I bought one I'm sure I bought one too. But here's the point. Do not be a sucker. Suckering into a marketing idea. And again, good marketing does this. They tell you a story that's different than all the rest. They change it up a little bit. They create a problem that you're having and tell you that this is the answer. So if 75% of Americans say that they eat healthy, reminds me of my husband, Hans. He thinks those oats and honey granola bars that come in that green little package, to him, that's eating healthy. There ain't nothing healthy inside of that package. Here's another one. When he thinks that he's trying to cut down on trying to lose a little bit of that extra cushion that he got in his belly. Okay, I'm gonna have some protein bars. I'm like, Hans, have a Snickers instead. It's the same thing. That protein bar, that whether it's a Cliff Bar or it is whatever the protein, the big old protein bar that's got chocolate and peanut butter in it, just have a Snickers bar. The Snickers bar is only 250 calories. That protein bar is more in calories. It almost has the same amount of protein in it. It's using the same sugar. They have just convinced you that protein bar is healthy. So therefore you're going to spend how much more money on the protein bar versus the Snicker bar? Both of them are bad choices. Both of them. So just because something says it's a protein bar doesn't mean it's healthy. In fact, if you want to eat healthy, have some chicken that you baked yourself. All right, so we're talking about this today. We're talking about, have we been duped by marketing? Have we been duped into believing that all of this packaging and all this stuff that's saying it's healthy, is it really healthy? We've got Diane Pollard from Australia. Super early over there right now for you, girlfriend. Diane, what about you? What do you think about, can it be that really 75% of the population says they're eating healthy, but how many people are overweight? 60% of the women are obese or overweight. 75% of the men are obese or overweight. And 30% of all children under the age of 18 are obese or overweight. There's a big discrepancy here. Diane, what say you?
I totally agree, Dani. Hey, one of the things that we have a problem with here in Australia too is exactly the same. We have foods that are getting put into packets. Some of them are even called low fat, low sugar, low salt, everything like that, all the little labels that are intended to get us to buy it. But at the end of the day, it's chemical warfare.
Yep.
You know, they're modifying what started off as a beautiful whole food that was going to put goodness in our body, you know, live enzymes and beautiful things that were going to feed our body. They go and tamper with it, park it in a packet, sitting on a supermarket shelf for months, maybe years, and then we come along, get you know, into the marketing of it,
yep.
buy what they've got because of what's written on the label,
yep.
and then, you know, suddenly we've got this packet that's nothing more than chemical warfare and guaranteed to hurt our bodies.
Absolutely.
How can that give us life if there's nothing live in it?
Yep.
No enzymes, nothing there that our body can actually use.
Yeah, if we're putting dead things in our body, it's only going to produce death in our body. We are what we eat. So if the food we're putting in our body is not alive, well, we certainly can't live off of that food. Thus, the protein bar, which is what? Chemical warfare. If you can't read what the label says, you cannot pronounce it and you don't know what the source of it is from, that's why I say, have a Snicker bar. You can at least read the word peanut, sugar, high fructose corn syrup, worst thing in the world you could put in your body, right? But here's the part that really cracks me up. This one really cracks me up. Hot tamales. I have a confession to make. Do you have those in Australia, by the way? Hot tamales. It's a candy.
No, not really.
It's a candy. I'm glad you don't, Diane,
No.
because if you're like me and you like things that are cinnamon and hot and spicy, like this Latin girl over here on the other side of the phone with you, hot tamales are my best friend, okay? And guess what it says on it? Mm-hmm. Okay, a fat-free food. Oh, same with caramels, right? Certain caramels. It's a fat-free food. Or it says, always has been gluten-free. Oh, this is hot tamales are gluten-free. I can eat these. These are good for me. Yeah. Oh, and they're also fat-free. They're fat-free. They're fat-free. They're fat-free. They're gluten-free. Man, this is healthy stuff. Yeah, knock yourself out with some diabetes. That's the diabetes diet. That's what that is. Man, I'm telling you. And then what are we paying? What are we paying for the so-called healthy food that we literally have been deceived by the marketers, right? And by the way, who created all of this gluten-free information? If we were actually to follow that money trail, whoever came up with the gluten-free story? Where did that come from? It might be from the same exact places that, well, the milk does a body good concept came from. Did you guys have that slogan down under?
We have all sorts of things told to us that it's great for us, but it couldn't possibly be.
No. So like, for example, milk does a body good. That was a slogan from when I was a child. It lasted for a long time. Still people do say it. And guess what? The dairy people, the ones who sold dairy products were the ones who came up with the slogan where milk doesn't do a body good. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
This is the Dani Johnson Show. More resources, more training, more results. The DaniJohnson.com Insider Membership is your ultimate success shortcut. Get exclusive access to reports, videos, audios, ebooks, cheat sheets, and other training for your personal and professional life. This is truly DaniJohnson.com's best kept secret. Become an Insider member today and get on the fast track to success.
Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what poverty-stricken families are dealing with in Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic needs of food, clean water, and safe housing. But a miracle is in the making, and you can be a part of transforming Nicaragua. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Nicaragua. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
Did you know you can take the Dani Johnson Show with you wherever you go? It's never been easier to stay up to date with the latest content from Dani with the DaniJohnson.com app. Watch or listen in the car, at the gym, or on the go. Download it now from the App Store and Google Play and never miss a show again. Your family, business, and bank account will thank you.
Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. The most common question I get usually are from people who are trying to juggle their life. They've got kids who are involved in all kinds of activities. They've got business or their job, finances, trying to get out of debt, plus all their church activities and all the volunteer activities. And they're pulling their hair out going, how do I juggle this all? Man, I once lived just like that until I learned Time Secrets. Time Secrets showed me how to be able to cut my hours from 100 hours a week that I was working down to 20 hours a week and tripled my income as a direct result with what I learned. Time Secrets also showed me how to get my priorities in order, which healed up my marriage. And I became a mother that I was proud of versus becoming the mother I didn't want to be. And so if you feel like your world is running around in all kinds of different circles, you can fix that. Call 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880 for Time Secrets.
And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
Okay, so everyone says they're eating healthy, but are you really checking your labels? And not only that, today on Money Monday, are you paying more money for junk that says it's healthy? Like some of the fruit drinks that says it's all natural and healthy and has vitamins and minerals. What about those granola bars like my husband has in his truck every day because he thinks it's a healthy snack? I say, have an apple. That's a healthy snack. Have a little orange, little tangerine. That's like full of yummy yummies and it tastes fabulous and takes the sugar craving away and it's only 40 calories. Okay, but that granola bar that you can't just eat one. Nope, you got to eat both of those things that are inside of that actually look like cardboard, kind of feel like cardboard, but boy, they're nice and sweet. Ain't healthy. Just because the label says healthy doesn't mean it is. And when you see those labels that say it's healthy, you're paying an outrageous price for those items. It's cheaper to eat whole foods than it is to be buying the packages that say it's healthy. Real living food helps your body to stay alive. It does. Helps your body to stay alive. So we had just finished talking about that 75% of Americans say that they eat a healthy diet. And that's really funny because, most of our population is overweight, if not obese. That includes men, women, and children. So if we're eating healthy, how come we have a weight problem? Really? All right. So going over to the phones, we've got Kimberly Cavett from Trinidad, Colorado. That's got to be nice. Trinidad, Colorado. So what about you? Have you suckered into the, the marketing plays that, they have on candy that says it's gluten-free and it's fat-free? So that must mean it's healthy?
Absolutely, I have, but not with candy or gluten-free.
Nice.
Actually, I can't believe it's not butter. It is not butter, but it's also not as healthy as they claim it to be.
Yep.
And I kind of got duped into it, and that's like $6 a tub.
Right.
I'm using it to fry up fresh vegetables, asparagus, cabbage, Brussels sprouts. I'm frying it up with garlic and pepper, and I can't believe it's not butter. It's yummy. My kids are eating it. And then my 16-year-old daughter, who's 17 now, says, Mom, this is not butter.
Yeah.
Now, I'm using this in my restaurant as well.
Wow.
And I'm like, whatever. This is good stuff, This is good. Everybody's eating it. It's good. It's called Veggies Gone Wild. The fact is, just because something is real does not necessarily make it good for you.
That's true.
They're telling you in the advertisements it's better for you, it's better butter all the way around. But what they're not telling you in the advertisements are the real ingredients that I can't believe is not butter, is touting are oils and salt, which we know are unhealthy ingredients, clogged arteries, high blood pressure, headache. Number one cause of headache. Too much salt, too little water. Not to mention that $6 per tub. That really bothers me.
I love that you listen to your 17-year-old. Good on you, Mom.
I did. We argued about it a bit, but she's a researcher, and she pulled up the ingredients, and she said, how can this possibly be better and butter.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, I've been paying 99 cents for Bonnet or whatever, Imperial, or $2.99 for a tub of butter, margarine.
Yeah. Okay, can I tell you something, Kimberly? You're about to freak out. My aunt told me, my aunt is now 80, and my aunt told me she grew up in New York City, and she had told me she remembered when margarine was invented, and the way and when it was first invented in New York, they brought it to the house. Okay, so they delivered it in like a Ziploc plastic bag. It was lard with a red dot in the center, and your job when you receive this plastic bag, like a Ziploc bag, filled with white, hardened oil with a red dot. Your job was to knead the red dot all the way through, and it turned yellow. And that was the birth of margarine. Butter is way better for us than that fake oil. Can I just say I'm grossed out? That's what it is. And that's what's in the tub that you've been buying. Country Crock, same stuff. Oh. They just mix it for you now. I can't believe it's not butter. Same stuff. Starts out white, has yellow dye number 7. They mix it all together and it looks like butter. But it ain't butter. Sorry. And we pay a high price for this stuff to kill us. We're literally paying to die, which is lame. Kimberly, I'm so proud of you. I'm seriously shocked that you allowed your daughter to show you the ingredients of it. And look at you and me. Look at us parents that never read the ingredients. What's wrong with us? We are supposed to be protecting our kids. We're supposed to be protecting our guests who are having over for dinner. In your case, you got a restaurant. You're supposed to be caring about their health too, and their children's health. And look, never even thought to read a label. Found out right there. Now listen, once in a great while, have fun. But this cannot be a part of our daily lives if we plan on living a healthy life. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Be sure to tell a friend about the Dani Johnson Show. It just might be the key to the breakthrough they need.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success.
Did you know you can see Dani Johnson live and in person? Go to DaniJohnson.com and find out about our next live event. First Steps to Success. Register today. Call 866-760-8255 or go to DaniJohnson.com/FSTS.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was working 60 to 75 hours a week. I was completely stressed out. I was incredibly angry with my husband. We were in over $350,000 worth of debt. By applying the strategies that Dani teaches, in the last 3.5 years, we have paid off $170,000 in debt. We are no longer roommates, and we no longer spend every single cent that we make. We now have made tens of thousands of dollars in passive income in investments. We are on the right track. We're traveling around the world together, and we are building homes for those who really need it. So I don't know about you, but if you want to cut back from 60 to 20 and 30 hours a week, if you want to mend some relationships, if you want to make your life more efficient and a lot more fun, and you want to be the best version of you, I highly recommend that you get registered because your life is about to change.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, First Steps to Success in Creating Dynasty, my wife and I were really lost. We were struggling in a relationship. We were struggling financially, drowning in debt. Our relationship was really broken. We were in a bad place. We were living in 2 completely different states and not really honoring each other. Once we got plugged into the community, we noticed a shift in our lives. Most importantly, we came together as a husband and wife. That was the first thing we did. And when we finally came together under the same roof, things started to change. Over the past 3 years, we've been able to pay off over $495,000 in debt. I know in my business, I've had a job created for me that increased my income by 50%. That has actually opened up the door to allow my wife and I to spend more time with each other. So I don't know where you are. I don't know if your relationship is super awesome awesome. I don't know if your job is immaculate. I don't know if you're debt-free. But what I do know is if you're not any one of those things, your next step is to get plugged into DaniJohnson.com. Go on the website, get plugged into the community. I promise you, your life will never be the same.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was a broke college student, drowning in debt, and I felt like the world was crashing all around me, and I had bad relationships. Since plugging into DaniJohnson.com and First Steps to Success, I was able to pay off $6,600 in 4 months. Now I'm able to give 10% of my income to wherever my heart desires. I actually, using the skills that I learned from Dani, I actually landed a job before I graduated college, and I'm able to travel the world. All I know is if you're serious about annihilating your debt, traveling the world, helping people, and having fun doing so, I highly recommend you get registered for the next First Steps to Success. Do it now, don't wait, don't even thinking about it. If you're ready to change your life, just do it.
We went to our first ever First Steps to Success just 10 weeks ago, and it has definitely been life-changing ever since.
We felt like we got hit by a 2x4, but it was the best 2x4 because what we realized is that our priorities were clearly out of line. I had been building a home-based business and had been working 80 to 100 hours, and I realized that that is not my role, and that I had actually taken my husband's, and it was that realization that something had to change, and we immediately went home and changed everything. There was no hesitation. We said, you know what, we need to be obedient to God.
And we've implemented the tools day one. We started implementing what Dani taught us, invested in ourselves, invested in our kids, got our priorities in line. We've now actually paid off just not quite $60,000 in debt and looking at a couple more investments here as head of the household.
It's been absolutely incredible. So I just encourage you, if any of this speaks to you, if you're wanting to get out of debt, if you're wanting better communication, if you're wanting to elevate to the higher level of life, get to First Steps to Success and plug into DaniJohnson.com.
What multimillionaire do you know that volunteers their time to help ordinary people like you and me? There's only one. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Have you been seduced? Yes, seduced. Where that marketer batted her eyes at you, started speaking so softly about a much healthier way to eat. A better way to spend your money? Yeah, well, guess what? She gonna be totally found out today. Why? Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. Today is Money Monday. We're talking about the money in your pocket, staying in your pocket, and not being duped and seduced and lured into marketing tactics that are out there trying to get your kids' future money, the legacy you want to leave behind for your kids. They're putting it in their kids' pocket because your cash is buying every gimmick in the grocery store. On Money Monday, we try to show you ways to save money. This one is a big one. Check this out. This is crazy. 75% of Americans say they eat healthy. Then please tell me that if 75% of Americans say they eat healthy, why is it that 50% of Americans are struggling right now with chronic disease? If they're eating healthy, why do they have chronic disease? The other thing is that 70% of Americans are on some kind of medication. So if 75% is saying they're eating healthy, then why is it that 70%, is on medication? Why is it that half of the population has some kind of chronic disease? Could it be you are what you eat? And it's costing you not only money for things like this. Check this out. Okay, marketers are smart. They know how to position a package to get you to buy it. They know how to make it be set apart and just a little bit different, a little bit fancy, especially those of you who like to have the best of everything. Yeah, you're the easiest ones to sucker into buying something you shouldn't buy. I gotta have the best, so I gotta have the best salt. So what do you buy? You buy $4 Himalayan salt in a tiny little grinder versus 50 cents for the iodized salt. Why? Because it's the best. Why? Because it's better for me. Because it's expensive. Yeah. And you got $300,000 of a mortgage debt. You got $100,000 between your 3-car debt. You got another $100,000 in credit card debt. Why? Because I had to buy pink salt. Come on, friend. Wake up and smell the hummus. You are being deceived, lured, you're being suckered, and it's time to start looking at some labels, at least for just the sake of keeping the cash in your pocket versus giving it willfully over to them. Not to mention the kind of disease that all of this junk is causing. Check this out. My coworker found this. This is amazing. Okay, so a Hershey bar costs about $1.92. I don't know which size that is, but it's less than $2. I can't remember when it was 5 cents. Anyway, and there actually is some healthy ingredients in a Hershey bar. We got to do a story on him. Okay, anyway. Oh, gosh. There's something else I want to tell my team right now, but I can't. But it has to do with a book called Abba's Child. Please write it down so that we can talk about it. We got to interview this author. He's really awesome. Okay, back to the show. Okay, so anyway, so a Hershey bar is less than $2. Then there is a luxury avocado chocolate bar, which is in a really pretty wrapper, and it costs $5. $5, and it promises the nutrition of an avocado and heart benefits. Why? Because cocoa actually has heart benefits. It does. It's actually healthy for the heart. It's when you put in all of that hydrogenated junk into it where it's not healthy. No mo. It's bad for you now. And it's bad for you when you eat too many Hershey bars, like I've done so many times. Okay, so I happen to like those chocolate bars. Okay, so anyway, so here's how we get seduced. So for the people that are like, I gotta have the best, they like to look like a king, act like a king, live like a king, but they have like $500,000 worth of debt. They never have any month left over at the end of the money. They're living paycheck to paycheck, but to everybody else, they look like they're really successful. Stop living the lie. Come on, man. Come out. Come out of the lie. Let's get real. This is your health. This is your pocketbook. This is your kids' health and their future pocketbook. All right, so look at the difference. You got a $3 difference. Check it out. For the same serving size, the avocado bar has more calories, more fat, and more sugar than the Hershey bar. Booyah. And why? Look, let me tell you about marketing. I've been in marketing for almost 30 years. Marketing, what they do is they take something that is normal and they just find a way to make it more interesting. That's it. I promise you the avocado chocolate bar people are never going to beat Hershey's chocolate sales. Never, ever. Multi-billion-dollar company that gives 72% of every dollar that comes in, the profits go straight to taking care of orphans in Pennsylvania. Schooling them with a great education. Got to do a show on that. Amazing story. Okay, so look at that. You're spending $3 more for what? More fat, more sugar, more calories. Yeah, that'll help you. Surely it will. What a joke. So have you ever spent money on something that you thought was healthy? It turns out it wasn't. We've got Karen. I'm not even going to try Karen's last name from California. Karen, I want to honor you by not butchering your last name. But why don't you go ahead and teach me how I should say your last name?
It's Koswara, so just that C is silent. That's all it is.
I'm going to let you just say that. That's awesome. So it's Karen from California. We're going to keep it right there. Okay, so Karen, what about you? Have you ever been like seduced into buying something that was healthy, but then it turns out it wasn't?
I have, actually. Yeah, a few years ago, I started really getting into some gluten-free products.
Yeah.
Doing my body good.
That one really cracks me up. This is what's really funny. I remember when that gluten-free thing got birthed, right? And it's a terrible thing. Celiac disease is awful. It's awful.
Yeah.
And why do we have this gluten intolerance? Because man wanted to make more money and they screwed with the seed. And we're not supposed to screw with the seed. So because that seed has been modified, our bodies were not made to digest a modified version of the seed. So here comes all this gluten intolerance stuff, right? But isn't it funny that, wow, all of a sudden, I mean, Karen, do you remember when you heard celiac disease for the first time?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then prior to that, did you ever hear about it before?
I'd never heard of it.
It was like a completely birthed new industry.
Yeah.
Out of thin air. Out of thin air. A birthed industry. Okay, what? So people have some gas after they eat, right? The Beano isn't working, all right? Someone's getting a stomach ache. Okay, the antacids are not working, all right? So they go back to the doctor again and again and again. Oh, you're gluten-free. It's celiac disease. Oh, okay. But isn't it interesting, Karen, that at the same exact time, girlfriend, that at the same exact time that this gluten intolerance thing started being talked about, wait, there was already gluten-free cereals at the grocery store.
That's right.
Wow, how sweet of them.
So convenient.
Right? That was so sweet of them. Oh, wait a minute. Unless, of course, the companies that was going to make these gluten-free foods lobbied for the study to be done and gave them some data that they could sell so that their new gluten-free bread, gluten-free cereal. Come on, tell me, if you went on the gluten-free row, what are all the new products that you all of a sudden started buying that you never bought before?
Oh my gosh, I was buying donuts. I never buy donuts. I was buying bagels like they were going out of style, tortilla chips, bread, cookies. It was out of hand. Yeah. Anything that had that little gluten-free label, I really got excited about.
Oh my gosh. So like, wait, this is awesome. So you're telling me you didn't eat donuts and cookies and all that crap before, but because it's gluten-free, it must be healthy, which means I can eat it.
Yeah, once in a blue moon. But yeah, I remember buying a whole pack of these special gluten-free donuts at a health food store of all places and eating the whole pack on the way home, like in my car. Feeling good.
And wait a minute, how much were those gluten-free donuts?
Oh my gosh, they were more expensive than anything else on that row. I think they were like $5 or $6.99.
Yeah.
For 4 donuts.
For 4 donuts, $6 for 4 donuts, which you could get so cheap. If you want to eat something like a donut, you could get it for 50 cents a piece. Wow. Exactly. Wow. Isn't that amazing? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, this is hilarious. I've seen people do this. And here's another thing. Again, someone's mad at me. I could tell right now. I'm totally offended. You are not compassionate about my celiac disease. Shut up. I have family members that have celiac. I get it. It's terrible. But here's the part that cracks me up. What does it mean? Don't eat wheat products. What does that mean? You can still eat potatoes. You can eat corn. There's still a ton of food you can eat that doesn't bother your belly. So, okay, you can't eat cereal. So what? Have oatmeal.
Yeah.
Right?
So many choices.
There's so many choices. And people are so funny. Well, I can't have this and I can't have that. Why don't you focus on what you can have and eat real food that's alive and not dead?
That's the key. Real food. Bingo. Yep.
Real food in a box. I mean, real food is not in a box. Sorry.
Yeah.
Real food is not in a box. It is birthed in the produce department. In fact, I've said this oftentimes, shop the perimeter of the grocery store. That's a big word. Shop the outside of the grocery store, the outside of the inside of the grocery store. You know, where all the living food is. Stay out of the middle. I will bump into the rice aisle. Bam, I'm out.
That's so true.
Right? And if we eat like that, we're going to live longer, healthier. We're going to have more energy. We're not going to be crab apples. We're not going to have joint problems. This makes me mad, Karen. It really, really upsets me that we
I have so many friends buying into the whole gluten-free trend, and they're wondering why they're not losing weight.
Yeah.
You know, I was in the same boat. I was actually gaining weight on the gluten-free diet, and as soon as I stopped it, I actually cut all grains from my diet, and it just completely changed and immediately started losing weight. So that whole gluten-free trap, I was sucked in pretty good.
That's wild. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
Stay right here for more of the Dani Johnson Show.
This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
Hey everybody, my name is Digby and I'm from New South Wales, Australia, and I'm here live at First Steps to Success. I've been to 6 events now, and my journey started with an encore in Brisbane, and after doing 2 encores in Australia, I just really had to come to a live event, so here I am today. And since attending an encore and getting involved, my income has doubled and my family life is just blossoming. So you have to get that. You just have to experience it.
So 4 years ago in July, we showed up to our first Dani Johnson event, our first Steps to Success. And we were completely desperate in every area of our life. At the time, I thought it was just because of our finances, but then I figured out pretty quickly that it was because of my lack of people skills that we were where we were. we sat in the front row. We got fast track, and we sat in the front row, right in the center, next to some amazing people, because we were so hungry, so desperate, so broken, and I pretty much cried through the entire event, honestly. And when she did the War on Debt, which she will show you, this afternoon, I went back immediately and got it. She had just started talking. I heard a couple stories, and I was like, if they can do it, I know we can do it. So we went back and got it and listened to it on the way home in the car, because we drove from Michigan all the way to Missouri. So we listened to it in the car, and when we got home, we immediately got our papers out. We wrote down our plan, and we started applying it. And within 14 months, we paid off over $62,000 worth of debt. We never in a million years thought that was possible. There's so much that has happened in the last 4 years, and I'm the person that wants the results immediately. I don't like the process of getting there. I want to just get there. But I've learned to appreciate the process over the last 4 years, and just seeing the transformation that has happened in us. Personally, we individually experienced different things, and we experienced a lot of things together. I was paying our bills. I was completely disrespectful to my husband and didn't really know how bad it actually was. And so that part of our life is still improving. I can say we're a work in progress. It takes time, and we have grown so much.
We showed up. My wife, I didn't know this at the time, but she was battling thoughts of suicide. I had no idea. I thought I was being a perfectly good husband. I did my best to serve her, be a great guy. But what she needed was somebody who would step up and be a leader in our marriage. That's not who I was. And I was totally emasculated, physically emasculated by, there's someone in our church, the pastor. And so we felt the brokenness of a church, having to leave and just hurt, and devastated. One of the biggest breakthroughs started in our marriage is when Lucy started being a wife to me. And I, as a leader, I should step up, right? Take action first, be the initiator. She did it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a completely different person. And I can tell you, our marriage has just, it's amazing, the difference between her feeling suicidal, me stepping down as a leader, to me taking the initiative and just looking her in the eyes and saying, honey, thank you for allowing me to be your leader. And she just melts every time. This is awesome. So. So let me just tell you this, guys. If you're struggling, or you're broke, you're wondering what your next step is, hey, just take action. Follow those notes that you just took. Take action and do it, because your story is going to be here, and people are going to be inspired by your story. So are y'all ready to take notes? All right, let's do this. Help me welcome Miss Dani Johnson, America's favorite millionaire, to the stage.
And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
Look, you're doing your best, right? It's Money Monday. This is the Dani Johnson Show. You're doing your best to save money. You're doing your best to eat healthy. You're really not if you're not reading labels. You're really not if you think that a protein bar is healthy. You're not eating healthy. Real whole foods will be cheaper and better for you. It helps to fight against disease. 50% of our country is suffering from chronic disease. 70% of our country is on medication, while 75% of our country says, I eat healthy. Let me in your pantry. Have you looked at the labels? It ain't real. It's a bunch of processed stuff that they then put on the label, all natural, gluten-free, fat-free, low sodium. How did they make it that way? How did they make it that way? You got to ask yourself. How do they make it that way? What process did they do? Bottom line is this. If it comes off of a tree and out of the ground, put it in your mouth. That would be a whole food. And for those of you who eat meat, as I do, I eat chicken and fish and turkey. Okay, so that is like, okay, now please don't be mad at me. I'm not a vegetarian. I'm not vegan either. I've done vegan before, like for 40 days fasting for my marriage. It was very nice. I lost a ton of muscle and got scrawny, but felt really good. Anyway, the bottom line is that many of us think that we're eating healthy. Check it out. Global sales of healthy food products reached $1 trillion last year. Did you hear that? Global healthy food. Largely, it's the millennials, by the way. It's the millennials that think they're eating healthy. They're paying a crazy high price for healthy foods. And it's keeping them in debt. And they're not really even looking, is it really healthy? And do I really actually need this? So look, it's more than the year before. So $1 trillion last year, more than the year before, according to Forbes. So we got Tammy on the phone. Tammy Small. That's a great last name. Tammy Small from Allen, Texas. That's a name for you. Hi, Tammy.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, what about you? Have you ever been deceived into buying something that said it was healthy and then it turned out it wasn't healthy? Did you just hear Karen's story, like she gained weight going on a gluten-free diet?
Yes, absolutely. So I've been eating clean for about 5 years now. My husband had a heart attack 5 years ago. And so we kind of looked at our diet. And we did think we were doing a good job at home. We meal planned every week. We meal prepped. We did everything during the week to get ready. We had 3 kids at home. And, we would buy things like on a busy night, have Progresso light soup or lunch, a lean cuisine.
Bad.
Things like that. Things that said, I always looked at calories, fat, sugar, but I never read the ingredients. I always looked at those things. And then when my husband had his heart attack, then we had to look at sodium and we had to look at ingredients and we totally eat completely different than we did then. But thinking that we were eating a healthy diet.
Right. I mean, how could Progresso soup not be healthy? How could a lean cuisine not be healthy, right?
That's lean cuisine. And then when I learned to read the labels and saw what I was eating and what we were all eating, gross. But also like things like whole wheat bread.
Yeah.
I ate every day for lunch a turkey sandwich on whole wheat bread, and then you look at the ingredients of your whole wheat bread.
Hydrogenated oils.
Oh, disgusting.
Food coloring to make it look brown.
And even now, it's taken me a long. I've studied for the last 5 years. I've studied food. I always study food. I still study food. Now it's more what whole foods can do for your body rather than I already know what the junk is. And we never ate fast food either. But in the first 2 months of changing, I lost 10 pounds.
Really? Okay, now hold on 1 second. I want to ask you about this diet, but first thing I want to know, because I think everyone wants to know, how old was your husband? Because you sound so young. How old was your husband?
He was 45.
Wow.
45.
So at 45, he had a heart attack.
He was a smoker, though, so we'll put that out there, too, that he was a smoker.
Sure. Okay, so at 45, he has a heart attack. You guys think you eat healthy because you don't go through drive-thrus, you don't eat junk food, right?
Never.
But you're buying the healthy
chips,
soups.
No chips, sometimes chips and salsa every once in a while, but no, if my kids got treats, it was because I baked them myself. Things like that. But now, just looking at, once I learned to look, just your pasta, I thought I was buying whole wheat pasta. But if you look at the label, I have sitting in front of me because I actually bought this not too long ago and realized that I bought the wrong thing. But I have organic lasagna sitting in front of me. It's organic durum wheat pasta.
Yep.
And it's not whole wheat. I mean, it doesn't have very many ingredients in it at all. And if you go by the number of ingredients, because a lot of people will say, well, if it has 5 ingredients or less, that's not true. The only thing this has in it is organic durum wheat semolina.
Yeah.
But that's refined wheat. That's not. But nobody knows that. Even if you think you're doing, after the low fat and the other crazes, and you think you're doing good, if you look at this, it says non-GMO, it says it's organic. Those are the words that people are looking for.
Yep.
But it's still not. It's still refined. It's still a refined grain.
Yeah, and that refined grain is going to have an impact on your body. Now, once in a while, it's fine. Every night, not good. Okay, so when you said you ate whole foods, and I want to pull this out with what you said because you're pointing out some things that are really important for people to understand. First of all, we're paying a high price for that Progresso soup that you thought was healthy for the family. You're paying a high price for the lean cuisine that only has 150 calories, versus making that food yourself. Right? And which is going to be healthier as long as you're buying the whole ingredients. Now, when you said about 5 ingredients on the back back of a label. Definitely be reading the back of the label to see what is actually in this, because that's either you're polluting your body and or you're feeding your body.
Right.
So when you said that you guys changed your diet in the first month or 2 months, you lost 10 pounds. What changed in your diet? What do you mean you started eating whole foods? Can you explain what that is? Because there's a Whole Foods grocery store that has robbed people blind with all their wonderful labels and healthy this, that, and the other thing, and just marked up the price like crazy, which I'm so excited that Amazon bought them and all that's changing. But Tammy, tell me, what does it mean to eat whole foods?
So just like I heard you say, you shop the perimeter of the store.
Yep.
You make everything yourself. So on a busy night when we had that, Progresso soup, okay, we'll have soup and sandwiches tonight. Instead of that now, I make soup homemade, which I
it's so easy.
To do all those things.
Yep.
I knew how to do all those things, but it just got convenient.
Yep.
To do it the other way. And in fact, it's really not that convenient when you think about it, because it doesn't take me long to throw soup together on the weekend or in the crock pot.
Yep.
I use my crock pot all the time.
Mm-hmm. And it's cheap. Soup is so cheap to make.
And I didn't grow up like that. My family, we never ate fast food. My mom and dad cooked everything from scratch. So for me to change after I had, 3 kids and working and, that's just an excuse.
Yep.
And I know that now.
Yep.
But I still thought I was doing the right thing by looking at the calories and the light and the sugar-free.
Actually, to be honest with you, I'm sorry to say this, but Tammy, so really the part that you were reading on the labels was more about vanity than it was about health.
But it's also about you don't...
No, look at that.
You don't know.
But look at that.
I agree.
It was more about, because you're looking at calories, fats, and proteins. This was about vanity. This was about making sure I stay looking good. This is about making sure that I don't get fat versus making sure that this is what it should be for my health, the health of my family, which again, health-wise, that is going to help you maintain your weight. That's where your bodies were made. I love it, Tammy. I'm so proud of you. Good job. And it's cheaper, isn't it, Tammy? It's cheaper. So much cheaper.
You get so much more out of it. When you do that, when I make a pot of soup, it lasts. You freeze it.
Yes. It's amazing.
Lunch is always leftover.
That's amazing. I'm proud of you, girl. I'm proud of you. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Don't go away. The next segment might just change your life. It's the Dani Johnson Show.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success. Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what poverty-stricken families are dealing with in Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic needs of food, clean water, and safe housing. But a miracle is in the making, and you can be a part of transforming Nicaragua. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Nicaragua. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
More resources, more training, more results. The DaniJohnson.com Insider Membership is your ultimate success shortcut. Get exclusive access to reports, videos, audios, ebooks, cheat sheets, and other training for your personal and professional life. This is truly DaniJohnson.com's best kept secret. Become an Insider member today and get on the fast track to success.
I just heard this amazing story. One of our clients had written us telling us that they had used job domination and unlimited success and has absolutely exploded their career. He said, Dani, I don't know where I'd be today without job domination and unlimited success. Listen, do you want more recognition from your coworkers? Do you want to be recommended to people all over the world? Do you want to be somebody that is highly sought after? Listen, if you're in a dead-end place where this gentleman found himself, but then learned new strategies and changed everything in his work life, and obviously this has resulted in higher bonuses and pay raises, you're next. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Job Domination right now. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Job domination. That's what you need. It's time for you to dominate the job market and break through the rut that you're in.
Helping you become all you were meant to be. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Friend, it's Money Monday. And if you want to accumulate wealth little by little, then stop buying the Progresso soup and start making your own. Literally, for the price of one can of Progresso soup, you can make several cans. It barely takes any time. It's fun to do with the kids, and you're actually feeding your body something really nutritious and healthy without all the binders and all the extras that they're throwing in there, all the fillers that they're throwing in there that your liver, your kidneys, your colon was not made to handle. So it is time to take personal responsibility for your health, the size of your butt and your gut, and it is time to start eating whole foods. It's going to save you money. You're going to feel better about yourself. You're going to teach your kids a great skill. You're going to look better than everybody else you work with. You're going to look better at the gym. You're going to look better at church. You're going to look better everywhere. Do this. Start saving money today by being more responsible, looking at those labels. If you can't understand an ingredient, don't put it in your kid's mouth and don't put it in yours. This is Dani Johnson. If this is your very first time joining us on the show, this was Money Monday. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about tips for your work life to help you improve, get bonuses, promoted, how to solve problems at work. Each day of the week we have a different theme for each day that fits every part of your life. If this is your first time, we got a gift for you. This is called First Steps to Wealth. I'm a former homeless woman who became a millionaire inside of 2 years, now donates all the money to the extreme poor. This book is yours if you call our office right now, 866-760-8255. Again, that's 866-760-8255. It's yours. You can get the physical copy of it if you want to pay the shipping to get it to your house. You got to have some skin in the game. Otherwise, it'll be another book collecting dust on your shelf. We'll pay the $15 book if you handle the shipping and the handling. Or you can download it. You can download it right on our website if you go to DaniJohnson.com. And speaking of the poor, listen, the amount that you could save on your grocery bill from actually choosing to eat healthy, like really healthy, shopping Whole Foods all over, all the stuff that's alive in the grocery store, take the amount that you could save and join me on an adventure of helping kids. We are rescuing 1,000 kids out of the sex trade this year. Again, that's rescuing 1,000 kids from the sex trade this year. $14 a day can help rescue a slave, an 8-year-old slave, a 5-year-old little girl, a 10-year-old little boy who've been sold into the sex trade because their parents either couldn't feed them or they wanted a new television. Right here in the United States, this happens every single day, could be happening from your neighbor. You can help out by going to kingsransom.org. Again, that's kingsransom.org. And click right there on the homepage. You'll see Rescue 1,000. Do what you can. Give $1, give $4, give $40, give $400, give $4,000 or $5,000. One kid will be rescued because of your donation right now. So go to kingsransom.org. Again, Rescue 1,000. So, again, I hope that you join us tomorrow. If you want to grow in your career, that's what we're going to be talking about on Tuesdays. It's your career tips on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, spiritual equipping. We talk about family in the other part of the week, and we inspire you the other days. So thanks so much for joining us. Please share today's show. God bless. Have a great day.
If this episode was an encouragement to you, go to DaniJohnson.com and share it with your friends now. You never know who else needs to hear it. This has been the Dani Johnson Show. Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for more insights that will help you get to the life you've always wanted.